is an emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest arrived. Emergency. Queen's Quest
down to the queens.
Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everybody inside and outside of the gender spectrum, and welcome back to Stardom Quest, the best weekly Stardom podcast anywhere in the world. I am, as always, Alex, and I am joined by Dylan. Hi, Dylan.
Hi, Alex. Hi, guys. How you doing? Another lovely Wednesday of recording. A lovely Thursday if you're watching this or listening to this day of. Old bits never die, Alex. I currently have 2 cookies on my desk, ready to be eaten
Oh my god.
at some point during this podcast. Which
Cookies
for you
return.
old heads, not even Stardom old heads, for your Stardom Quest old heads from a couple years ago, you'll know I always got a cookie on me. I always got a cookie on me. It used to be a big cookie. I used to like the big cookies. These are Korean cookies. They're very small. But that's okay.
Why
here
are
for
why are
Stardom
they
Quest.
smaller? Why are Korean cookies smaller?
I don't know. It's legit. There was just a tin of Korean cookies on the counter.
Okay.
Like my roommate got them, I guess. And so I've just been eating them. And they're like very small and they're very like stiff, right? They aren't
Oh,
soft. But if you dip them in milk or you dip them in anything, they like dissolve. So like if you dip them and then you immediately eat them, it's perfect.
right. That just sounds like a normal biscuit here. So,
Yes, but it was
yeah.
a
Wait, so
Korean tin.
when you say cookies, because sometimes you guys say cookies when you don't actually mean cookies, you mean biscuits.
It's possible I mean biscuits.
Because when I think of a cookie, I think of the round small yolks with chocolate chips or whatever.
Yeah, that's
And then
exactly what I'm eating.
biscuits are like something that you can dip into stuff.
Oh,
You
wait,
wouldn't,
those
you
are
like you
both
wouldn't
just cookies.
know
What?
because they're different.
Okay, these are still cookies.
Okay.
Wait, maybe they're chocolate chip biscuits. Now you got me confused.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I'd have to see them. There's a certain
I'm not taking a picture of my
aura to
cookies
it.
in the
Yeah,
video.
all right, that's fair. There's a certain aura to a cookie. Like you know what is a cookie and what isn't. So, but yeah. That is language differences with Alex and Dylan. This podcast is brought to you by the 5-Star Podcast Network. 5-Star Podcast Network, home to us, of course, Stardom Quest, home to Dramatic Dream Dragons, which is a DDT and Dragon Gate podcast, home to Watch Tej, the premier TJPW podcast in the world, home to Puro Jams, which is a monthly roundup of the indie scene in Japan, both men's and women's, and there's also like some side projects that are going to start cropping up. I know Dylan is involved in one of them. There's also the streams that happen. I can't remember what you call them. Summits. So there's a lot of audio stuff going on. We're recording a separate project that I don't think our listeners will really be able to get much out of, but it might help a lot of other people. And then we also have articles on the website, which is 5starnetwork.co.
Yeah, I finally released my article on the New Day and their formation back in 2014, 2015, and how they had no reason to be around still because everything went wrong for them in the first 6 months of their tenure together. And I find that very inspirational. And they are my favorite male tag team probably ever. So that's why I put a lot of heart and soul into that article. Hope everybody goes checks it out, even though it's not Joshi related or perhaps not even anything you're interested in. Scott says it's one of my best projects I've ever done. So if you believe Scott, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
Go
I
listen.
tend to believe Scott because Scott is never nice to anybody. So if he's praising you like that, he means it. So
I don't, apparently I'm the only one that like gets consistent praise from Scott. Like that's
yes,
crazy.
yes. You like he is a meanie bobini. Like I swear to God, he is horrible to me.
Damn, you didn't even
Yeah.
turn that into a joke. That's just that was
No,
just a confession.
he's a bully. He bullies me. He harasses me on a daily basis. I am scared every time I talk to him. So.
We love Scott. We love Scott.
Yeah, we love Scott. He's great. But I think that's enough for the plug. So Stardom has not been uploading anything because they've been on tour basically. So the last show that went up, I think, was from it's the 7th show back. Like they're 6 shows behind currently.
10
So there's
days
nothing
ago,
for
as
yeah
of the time of this recording, I believe. Oh no,
yeah
it's
absurd
9
stuff.
days. Yeah, still crazy.
So we are, instead of doing a review of stuff that we haven't seen and talking through 6 shows worth of house show tags, we're just gonna do a roundup basically of the last week in Stardom. We're gonna put together the news with like promo stuff and story stuff that we think is important. And there will be no review, and we're just gonna go straight down into the preview because the previews this weekend are pretty big. The 2 shows are pretty major. So I suppose the first place to start with news is it's one of those that isn't fully Stardom related, but could end up being Stardom related. Nao Ishikawa left Ice Ribbon, kind of I think it was last Thursday. Pretty CM Punk tier departure. Like she buried the president of the company as he sat next to her. She was apparently liking tweets all day that were talking shit about Ice Ribbon and the president. Pretty bitter breakup, all things considered. And it's one of those where if she shows up in Stardom, they might obviously do something there because everybody who leaves Ice Urban has to feud with Giulia, I guess. So I wouldn't be shocked, but I mean, if she hated Ice Urban, I don't know why she would hate Giulia for leaving Ice Urban unless she goes down the Suzu path of you ruined this company. Um,
That's
so we'll
still
have to wait
crazy.
and see.
That's even more crazy now that like all of the shit continues to unravel. Is just like Suzu being like everybody that used to work at Ice Ribbon being like, Julia, when you left, things fell apart. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And it's like, damn, they actually did. Not because of Julia.
Mm.
Julia was just Julia. But that's crazy.
Julia saw the writing on the wall and said, "I'm out of here." Like you, like what? That woman must take victory laps every single day about that company. Um, but yeah, that's one to keep an eye on because Nao Ishikawa was very much involved in this like idol project called like Kiss Me Princess or something, alongside Rina Amakura. So there's a potential avenue for her to join Stardom and join Cosmic Angels or something. She'd fit their vibe quite well. But I don't know. I know she's like got a different gimmick now, which maybe fits the indie scene a little bit better. But it's just one of those where um, now could end up in Stardom, and they might use her hating Ice Ribbon as a storyline. I'm not fully sure, but it's just worth mentioning.
She's gonna do the old school Sonata and come in and cost Julia the world championship for Tam. Big big heat moment in Yokohama. Uh,
Yeah.
she's gonna be the cold skull, but not the cold skull. Um, yeah. So two things. One, Alex, I can still hear a football match. This is really funny. I'm gonna be real. It's still picking
Well,
up on your mic. For full disclosure, Alex is currently multitasking because he really wants to watch a soccer game right now for all of my English speakers and not my English speakers. But and two, yeah. So I'm not a big ice ribbon guy, as everybody knows, but it is really interesting to see the quote unquote downfall of the company. I'm not saying that's going to go out of business, but I've heard wrestlers say it's going to go out of business way more than a company that isn't going to go out of business would entail. So, yeah, it's interesting. Yappy also had a Twitch stream, right,
hmm
where she implied a few things which were interesting. Not really
yes.
interesting, more concerning. Uh, one of which was that prominents were a bunch of bullies. She didn't say it, but she said it. And also that Kagetsu never got stabbed.
Yeah, that is tragic. That is like Joshi lore that is now
Yeah.
dead. Um, I prefer to believe that she did stab Kagetsu. Like I just think it's funnier if Tsukushi
Yeah.
stabbed Kagetsu.
I
So I'm
like
just gonna run with it.
I never like I don't think anybody like in their heart of hearts truly thought that Tsukushi like grabbed a knife and just like stabbed her. And obviously that didn't happen, according to Yappy, who also wasn't actually wrestling in Ice Ribbon when that allegedly happened. So she also doesn't have any firsthand knowledge. That doesn't matter. I'm not trying to dig holes into Yappy's into her story. But like I always thought that was like some like drunken bar fight joke gone wrong. and like something happened, and that was it. But the fact that somebody asked Yappy during her like, oh yeah, my home company might just die soon, and I'm not particularly happy about it. During that live stream, somebody asking Yappy, "Yo, what the fuck happened between Tsukushi and Kagetsu?" is crazy.
Yeah, that's the internet for you, isn't it? Yeah, that Yappy stream was something. I feel like she very much shone a light on Himeka's retirement as well. And she was like, "Yeah, well, Himeka retired because fans harassed her," which had kind of leaked out a little bit, but I think this was full confirmation that like that was the number one reason for Himeka is harassment on social media and stuff, which I thought was interesting as well.
Yeah, and I mean, you could kind of tell from certain things. Like it's a very unhidden secret for Himeka that she struggles a lot with the fan art of wrestling.
Hmm.
Because a lot of fans are just shitty. You know what I mean? Like that's why she turns off her comments on Twitter. That's why she, is very secluded in that way. She doesn't really like doing meet and greets. I remember it was kind of funny because she came into Stardom right after COVID, so she never had to deal with the Stardom meet and greets. But before that, she just hated doing meet and greets as far as I remember.
Hmm.
Like I remember there were stories about her like getting really upset at multiple meet and greets because fans were, you know, shitty. Like that's just how it is. I mean, when it's somebody who began their public career in a idol group that her designated role was to get made fun of because she's fat, that doesn't fully surprise me that
Mm.
it would get to her. But it is a shame, because like Maka's far better than that. And it also ties into like what she said, and I took this very like like found a lot of interest in it when she said that she doesn't think that she mentally or physically could handle being world champion. I
Yeah.
was like, I think this isn't a matter of her being like, oh, I'm not a good enough wrestler to be world champion. I think it's a matter of her being like, I can't deal with the eyes on me and the massive amounts of scrutiny that would pile on to the already massive amounts of scrutiny that she's under as a
Mm.
wrestler. And that's sort of what kind of clicked for me is that I think a lot of this does go back to that more so than pretty much anything else. I'm sure she did have that plan. I mean, she's talked about having the plan where it's like, oh, by 25, she's either in or out, and she decided to be out. But it does seem like that is a big part of like, like an 80% part of the reason was the fan reception.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I know like on the surface initially it was kind of like, oh yeah, physically, and I said I'd do 5 years or whatever. But then the more you hear of the other side of it, you're like, yeah, it kind of makes a lot more sense. And the door may be open to an eventual like return on her end, because I feel like if it is more mental, I feel like that sort of stuff might fade with time. Um, so I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting when Yappy said that and was almost kind of offhand confirming that there's a lot more of that than the physical stuff. Um, but anyway, that's enough on the Now and Yappy. Um, Another bit of news is that one of the debuts this weekend has been pushed back. Komomo Minami has suffered an injury, so she is unable to wrestle this weekend, and her and Hazuki has been pushed back. It has been replaced on the New Blood Premium show with Super Strong Stardom Big Machine versus Sexy Dynamite Princess.
So that's
Whatever the hell that means.
I think Big Machine is Lady C.
Yuna. Is it? No, what? Isn't it
I,
Yuna?
you know what's wild? Me and Widescreen like had a long discussion about the uh and we didn't want to, but we had a long discussion about that Strong Machine versus Shinigami match because we were trying to figure out who everybody was.
Hmm.
Because I wanted to see if Aoi was still there. I
Yeah.
don't know. I couldn't figure it out. Uh, but no, big. Okay, yeah, Big Machine is Yuna. Giant
Yeah.
Machine is Lady
Yes.
C, and then Strong
So
Machine is just Strong Machine is Saya. Okay.
yeah. Presumably, what's it? Sexy Dynamite Princess will be Mariah May because she's not on the show, and I mean, I feel like she's the fighting princess.
That's
So,
phenomenal. I love that. I hope she comes out in a mask. She better come out in a mask. I mean, she
oh,
has to.
obviously, yeah, she has to. So yeah, I mean, masked Mariah May, possibly? Question mark. Maybe it'd be Mina. That would be less fun, but still fun.
Infinitely less fun, but yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, that is that match. And yeah, Kamoma Minami, just hope she can get back from that injury as soon as possible.
Yeah,
They
it's
didn't.
always like the worst time to get injured because this happens a lot with trainees. Is like
Mm,
either they get injured right before their first match or like in their first match, first two matches, they get injured and it really fucks them up. You know what I mean? Because
mhm.
they don't even have that like response yet of like, oh, like this is why I keep going because I really like doing this or because fans are like, like this and that. You don't have any of those reasons yet. You just are like grinding and then something completely stops you. And it's a lot harder to get back on the horse before you debut than it is after.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've seen like rookies who were supposed to debut and then got hurt and just disappeared. Like
Yeah.
it's not all that uncommon. So, you just kind of hope that she does stick with it. But if she doesn't, it wouldn't be like this rare first time occurrence. The
It's
trainee
quite
stuff
common.
isn't. Yeah, it's not that easy to be a rookie, and especially if you get hurt very early on, I can imagine it really sets you back. Um, but that is one of the big kind of drawing points of that show is the debuts. So one of them being missing definitely hurts it. Um, then we have lots of other little bits to round up. So the first one is that earlier today, Stardom uploaded a video of Starlight Kid invading Ichigaya Chocolate Square. What a world we live in, where a
That
Stardom
video was
wrestler is,
crazy.
yeah, they're just visiting Gato Move. Like, it is fantastic. Um, I am in pain because the captain of the team I watch is injured, and
That's tough.
she is our best defender, like by far. So we may be screwed, but we are winning 1-0, so it's okay. Um,
You know what? Just a little bit offhand. We are what 130 something episodes, 140. Are we up to
yeah,
140 yet? I don't know.
no.
Yeah, 130 something episodes in. First few episodes we were like so trying to be professional, and we were like trying so hard. And now I'm eating cookies. I mean, I've been eating cookies for like the past 100 episodes, but now I'm eating cookies. He's watching his football game like on the side. But we still here. We still doing it. We still doing the damn thing. We still good at it.
And the best
But
of
yeah,
the best can multitask. It is all right. Like my attention is focused solely on this audio, so I'm a professional. Um, but yeah, Starlight Kid showed up in Ichigaya Chocolate Square. She challenged Mei Saruga to a match on Yokohama Arena. So pretty cool match there.
I think the funniest part of the entire, well, maybe not of the entire thing, but one of the funniest things to me was her going to Aki and like trying to speak English, and he's like, "I know Japanese. Like I'm very fluent in Japanese," and she's just like, "Where is May?" And he's just like, "You could ask me in Japanese," and then he's like, "She'll be here in a minute." And then he just leaves, and I was like, "I fucking love Aki. Aki's my guy."
Starlight Kid was so fun in that video. She's so funny. I love her. Um, her and May agreed to a tag match, and May Saruga said that she'll bring her best tag partner. So speculation is already running amok as to who the tag partners will be, because neither Kid or May kind of said who they'll be teaming with. A lot of people are already preparing to get their hearts broken by bringing up Meiho Shizuki.
She ain't real.
We
She ain't
yeah,
real yet.
in our world, Meiho Shizuki no longer exists. Much like Kyrie before her. If
There was
you
one other one before that too.
might have been Mercedes, but I don't think so.
Oh yeah, that was after that. Was
Yeah,
is Mercedes real? Yeah.
yeah. So in our canon, if you don't show up the first few times we think you're gonna show up, you no longer exist. Like that's just how it goes. So to us, Meiho Shizuki doesn't exist. And if I had to guess, I would imagine Mei Saruga will team with Momoka Hanazono, who she teams with pretty regularly in Oz Academy. So Mei and Hanazono would be a fairly standard team in that regard. Um, or it'll be Mei and Azumi, because they did agree to team up after their high-speed match last year, and nothing ever came of it. So it might be them finally doing that. For Kid, imagine it'll be Umasaki, and if not, they might do Mio Momono, because Kid and Mio did team
They did
together
tag.
once,
Yeah.
and I feel like there's no better place to introduce Mio than in a match against Mei Suruga and Azumi, or Mei Suruga and Momoka Hanazono.
Okay, see, now you're getting my hopes up because Mio Momono, while she is real, she is real. That's funny. That's not a real country. No, so that was a, I should have said that.
Oh my
Uh,
god.
yeah, that was crazy. That off the dome. My bad, guys. Not my bad. It's true. Whatever. I need to stop. Momo, Mio Momono doesn't do Stardom, and I want her to do Stardom. So now you got my hopes up on that front, and that's not fun.
Well, how do you think I feel? But yeah, I don't know. I feel like that makes a lot of sense to me because it either
Some
be
people
Umasaki.
Sorry, some people were saying on Twitter, because El Desperado did reply, and he was like, "Yo, I want to fucking wrestle against ChocoPro," but Kid replied to him that like, "Oh, next time I got you." So he's not going to be on the show. Some people were thinking, "Oh, Best Bros versus, the Mask Connection or whatever their name is," like, but that's not happening at Yokohama Arena.
Yeah, I never thought that would be a thing.
I
I feel
didn't
like
either because they haven't done intergender stuff and at a
yes, yeah.
Stardom show in years.
Didn't really feel like Rossi would want that on his biggest show ever. He probably wants it to be all about the women's wrestling. And obviously, like bringing in Desperado and Aki would kind of
To be fair,
subtract
Big
from that a
Egg
little.
didn't they have a male match? Is that
Yeah, it was like a
yeah,
3-on-1 handicap match or something.
yeah.
Was that the minis match?
I think it
Because
might have been the
AJW.
minis.
Mm.
Wait.
Oh, there was a tag. There was a dude's tag, wasn't it? Like, was it Michinoku Pro?
Okay, Wrestle Marine Piad. That's what I'm thinking of because I was thinking where was Super Porky? Because there were
Oh
the
god.
Brazos. There were the Brazos.
Oh
That was a
yes,
really good match
yes.
too. Yeah, but yeah, they used to do it back in the day, so that's a bad comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was a couple male matches on those big AJW shows. Doesn't matter. Whatever. Yeah, I don't think that that's gonna happen, but I feel like everybody like wants to wrestle in ChocoPro, but they just don't, and I think that's really funny. Like, cause like Azumi last year was like, "Yo, I want to wrestle on the mat, bro. I want to wrestle on the mats." And now Starlight Kid and Desperado are like, "Yo, can we wrestle on the mats? I want to wrestle on the mats." And
Yeah.
just they never do. It's always
Yeah.
just May and you know Obi and Chie. You know what I mean? Like it's always they always get some indie guys on there, but I just find that really funny.
Indeed. So yeah, I mean that'll be a fun thing to wait on. I hate how many surprises we're waiting on from Stardom. I want to know now,
Yeah.
please.
Why
Um,
not? Oh
so
yeah, we didn't talk about the lack of Sari.
didn't that'll be up next. So yeah, that's an interesting use of Kid because we thought she'd be against Fua, but instead she's going to be
Oh
in this
yeah,
like spotlight cross promotional tag, which is
just supposed to be a high speed
continuing
tag.
the Dream Slam vibes, I guess,
Yeah.
because this show does have big Dream Slam vibes sometimes. Um, so yeah, that'd be an interesting one, and if it is, if Mia Momono is one of them, great. If she's not, I'm sure it'll be cool. If Hanazono is one of them, excellent. We like Hanazono in this on this show.
They
Um,
should get Hazuki, Ida, and Fua in a artist championship match.
oh my God, Suzuki and Bua-chan going at
Yeah.
it. Yeah, why not? Um, so in a Shoe Pro column, Sari was asked, "Are you the person Kyrie is introducing the April 2nd Stardom show?" And she said, "No, I'm not." So that's that idea out the window. I have no idea who that reveal is going to be at this stage because it can't be Mercedes Money unless she's there for a video promo, which I doubt. I'm not really sure on. Sari has said it's not her.
Could it be
So
Naomi?
might be actually, yeah. Naomi makes a bit of sense.
It makes more sense than like most of the alternatives.
I don't know though. Would she like come back to wrestling with Stardom and not an American promotion? Like she's a relatively well-known figure. I feel like she can make money
She
doing
can make money
modeling or whatever
anywhere.
she does on the
Yeah.
side. So why would she do Stardom Corkins. I don't know. It just would be a bit strange, but maybe. Do you
That would
remember?
that would be like the first time that two black women have ever been on a Stardom show. Maybe not the first time, but they'd never used black women.
I'll see with that racial
Like,
racial
what was it?
profiling.
I mean, he did keep Tessa around instead of Rosa.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Well, maybe that's why he hasn't brought in black women because last time he did, one of the crackers was fucking
Yeah,
abused her.
yeah.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, I can't do this
So
anymore."
that was the second to last time. Then the last time was Brandy fucking Rhodes breaking her collarbone in like 2 days. So that yeah,
Mm,
that was
mm.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
They should
But
bring
what a
in Naomi.
history.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Of course, of course. But yeah, that's I don't know who the hell that's gonna be, and I don't know what Sari does as her intro to Stardom now if she's not this mystery person. But we'll have to wait and see on that, I suppose. Um, on the topic, I guess, of Mercedes money. Mayu Iwatani this past week announced that she will challenge for the IWGP Women's Championship at the Yokohama Arena show. So presumably, that will be Mercedes versus Mayu, and that is one of the biggest dream matches you could have possibly ever come up with. And based on reports, that might be Mayu winning the belt because most people seem to agree that Mercedes has no more dates with Bushiroad after this. So
Which is like a bit, you know, not take it with a grain of salt, but just you gotta look at it in the more literal sense of she's been to Japan once
yes,
and she has not, and she said, "Oh yeah, we'll do this for a few months and then we'll probably revisit it." Like that's what I assume is the case, more so than like, oh, she is she has, because she has, I don't know, I'm talking on my ass, but I think that people are kind of jumping at that very quickly, and Mayu being in that match does make it seem like Mayu might win because it feels weird to put her in that match if she doesn't win. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, see, the thing with Mercedes is she calls the shots with New Japan, and she wants a lot of matches that they can't give her. So I wonder if this is I'm finishing up with New Japan. I'm gonna do the other matches I want, and we'll revisit this down the line.
Like
No,
like, yeah, I guess a Jericho deal. You know, because I mean Jericho
because
did the same shit.
she really wants to wrestle Miyu Yamashita. She keeps on calling out Azure Kong. You're not gonna get those wrestling for Stardom, but somebody can make that happen. You know, somebody can make Miyu versus Mercedes happen, so long as Mercedes isn't holding a New Japan belt.
Yeah,
Somebody can make Aja versus Mercedes happen, so long as she isn't holding a New Japan belt. So I would sense it's a bit more of kind of I'm dropping the belt now, do a few of the other things I want to do, and we can come back to this because I highly doubt she leaves the Bushiroad family before she gets to wrestle in the Tokyo Dome. I know she's got to appear. You know she wants to wrestle in the Tokyo Dome.
I imagine
So
she wants to wrestle in Tokyo Dome. Yeah.
I feel like it will be the end of her with the IWGP belt until next year's Wrestle Kingdom when she might be back in the equation after getting a few more of the matches that she wants out of the way. That's just kind of my read of it.
Yeah, and like I said, New Japan is used to doing that type of shit. You know, I mean,
Hmm.
Jericho got the fucking IC belt a few years ago. Nobody remembers it, but he did. It wasn't like he was there. You know what I mean? Like he left the company and then came back a couple months later. You know, like New Japan doesn't keep you to a deal very often in this sort of sense. So yeah, I could see what you're trying to say, and I would be interested in that. I also think that maybe it's just me, but the idea is that I think people see it as if she leaves New Japan, she's going back to WWE, and I think
Hmm.
that's not where I see it happening.
No.
You know, like I don't see it like that, and I see it more along your view and your lens. So yeah, that makes sense to me.
Alrighty. The next bit from the last week of Stardom is there was videos made for Waka Tsukiyama where she was found outside the dojo, face down in a heap, ragged, feral,
They've been
and
releasing these very sporadically. I don't know if you've noticed
yes,
this,
yeah,
but
they
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 have
released them
like
today.
prequels where like Tam was like, "Okay, you're gonna do this," And then Waka's like, why? And then she's like, just do it, okay? And then the next video they release is Waka face down dead on the road. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, it's back and forth.
So she was found by Rebel Enemy, which is the interesting part, and
Yes.
they helped her inside, and then they released a video today where they were hitting her with a stick to like make her train or something. Um, but there's clearly more to this Waka thing than just if she loses, she's gone. It seems like they're gonna go the avenue of Tam is misguiding her, and so she's gonna leave, join some of the outsiders, because she said she'd leave Stardom. She didn't necessarily say that she wouldn't join up with Rebel Enemy or Seven Up.
Yeah, I mean,
So
she could just be doing the Unimon gimmick because I mean, Unimon is
yeah,
a member of the roster. I don't remember who said it, but I'm pretty sure she has a homecoming show
yeah,
as a
they
part of
they give her a
Stardom Craze.
homecoming show and
Yeah,
everything.
so like she hasn't wrestled really anywhere else except for Yoneyama's promotion, who I don't know
Yeah.
if y'all know works for Stardom. So like like she's a part of the company, but she isn't a Stardom roster member, quote unquote.
Mm.
In that sort of sense. So yeah, I can imagine Waka doing that, and I think that'd be pretty interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Waka went back to the devil shit, and I've been saying this for a long time, but I
The
wouldn't be surprised.
videos definitely hint at something because her
Yeah,
facial expressions are not normal Waka. She's very like rugged and upset. Something like it's clearly there's some sort of anger there brewing.
yeah. You know what would be wild if
But
she did a turn mid match and lost the match, and like had like just I guess Tam can't really take that L.
no,
I don't know.
I would.
I think that would be interesting though.
Yeah, I
And
mean, I suspect it'll
Kyrie's
be.
on the other side. It's not you.
It's true. That is true.
You can't really turn and align with Kyrie who isn't has no allegiance.
Yeah, I suspect it'll be more that like Nanai offers her a spot or something
Yeah,
instead. Because it could just be that she's going part time. Because I mean, she's been missing from the last few shows, and I don't know why. Like I would always say Stardom doesn't do that sort of stuff for storyline purposes. They aren't that good at this, right? Like they want
yeah.
people on every show, so it
Especially
might
someone
just be
who
that
is
she's.
quite popular like Waka.
Yeah. So I imagine like it could just be that she's phasing to a part-time contract or whatever, and so they're gonna put her with one of the part-time groups as opposed to Cosmic Angels. So it could just be that either.
Yeah, that's true. I am interested in it though, and it ties in with
Yes,
Tam just being a terrible leader, which I've always
very
known.
much so.
I've always believed. But like I feel like this past week I'm just like if this isn't on purpose, then this is a crazy coincidence that Tam is the worst human being ever.
Well, I don't know. That's just seems to be her gimmick. Speaking of Tam, though, she single-handedly sold me on her versus Giulia. She, after the KBS Hall match, which was I think it was Himeka and Giulia against Meltier, Tam started beating the brakes off of Giulia, put off some of her hair, went backstage, and cut a fantastic promo.
Ah,
She
you missed
was,
the funniest part was her kicking the shit out of Natsupoi.
yeah, yeah. Do you know people got so upset about that they took the video down?
Really?
Yeah, I feel like I read that in a Discord. I haven't checked it, but I feel like people got very upset that
Did they
Natsupoi got
take it
kicked.
down?
I think so. Somebody said they did. Anyway, maybe they just changed it, but I think somebody said they took it down.
Man, I'm checking. But no, damn, I'm that far behind. Yeah, so Tam did cut a great promo. A rare Tam W, in my opinion. Maybe it's because it was in spoken word and had subtitles, which isn't a thing that happens anymore in Stardom. So maybe
She was
that's why.
mad.
Yeah,
She was actively angry, which definitely helped.
this too. Yes.
But for
Um,
those who don't, for those who didn't see the promo, she said, "Julia, do you know how I felt since that day I took your hair 2 years ago? I became the champion, but all anyone ever said was Julia, 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 Julia. The more your hair grew back, the more it drove me crazy. This time, on April 23rd, I will beat you and take everything you've got. will be the one to crawl through hell. Don't you forget it. So the stakes are rising. I said it after their initial promo. I wouldn't be shocked if they add a stipulation to this match. With Tam cutting Giulia's hair and cutting a promo like this, I feel like a stipulation is coming.
It's
And
necessary, I feel.
I feel like this is the final match between them. Because you don't. This angle itself was a selling point. Like this match, this angle, this show sold me entirely on Tam versus Giulia. It also feels like this is the big one. Like this is the one. Tam
This is the one
is
that
at
I'm
her
actually gonna
most
like.
maybe. It's like Tam's at her most upset. She's pushing all of Giulia's buttons. Giulia doesn't need a lot to get upset either. Like there's something to this Yokohama Arena match.
Yeah, they left it up. It's still in their pinned tweet. We don't know because
All
we're
right, okay.
blocked, but it's still their pinned tweet. Um, yeah, it's interesting for sure, and it does have to be the last one. I mean, I've already talked on this, but it needs to be their last one, and I am interested in what they decide to do. I would love it if they actually win deathmatch, or at least like go go beyond the hardcore match style that Stardom does, and did like a real like brutal match between them. I think that would be really fun and really interesting. But I imagine they aren't going to go that out there for their Yokohama show. Um,
No.
even though Yokohama historically is a big deathmatch territory. That doesn't. I digress. Um, I'm also losing my voice. That's crazy.
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, I think this promo did definitely sell me on it, but I'm still like, we still at this. Like, is Tam gonna lose her hair? Is that what
I
this
don't
is
think they
leading
do
to?
that. I really feel like she's gonna put something big on the line.
Yes, but she cut her hair. Like that's the thing is that it's like it's Chekhov's hair or whatever. It's like if somebody cuts somebody else's hair in the first act, somebody's losing their hair in their third act. The issue is this is actually like the ninth act and the 12th act, and somebody lost their hair in the second act. So it doesn't really play out that way.
Well, what if it's Giulia puts the title and her hair on the line, and Tam puts something more, right? Like they could do it that way, where Giulia is like, "Well, I don't want your hair. You're obsessed with mine. I don't want yours. This
If
is what
if
I
it's
want."
not if it is not oh, you know what? This is fantasy booking era right now, okay? This is how I'm thinking, right? They don't want Tam to be retiring right out of this. They
Mhm.
don't want this to be a retirement match, I imagine. It's not a career match. But I could definitely see Tam putting up her leadership of Cosmic Angels on the line
Mm,
and
maybe.
being like I'll leave Cosmic Angels or Cosmic Angels will disband and I'll be alone again or whatever. And then after she loses, she can join up with Mayu, do that last tag run, and then fade into oblivion.
Possibly, yeah. That could be something. I feel like after a promo like that and the fight, you have to put something. Like there has to be something extra
Yeah,
to
but I
this.
just I just don't know what it would be.
Yeah. I did start to think that maybe Tam might win based on that promo. I was like, this really feels like
You
Tam might
can't be
beat
doing that.
Giulia.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
Julie can always just be a two-time and win it
Yeah,
back
because
at the end of
well,
the
we
year.
said
So
that when Julia won the belt, we were like, she could hold it for 2 months or 2 years. Like Julia's reign was always completely unknown to both of us. Like there was no clear next step. But like Tam beating her at Yokohama Arena makes a lot of sense. Especially after a promo like that. But I suppose it depends on what the stipulation ends up being. Like, if it's just a normal title match, I would have a lot more faith in Tam winning. But if it's a big stipulation match, then obviously, I mean, Julia's gonna take the win. But that was definitely one of the most interesting things from the past week. Was just Tam completely selling me on that match.
yeah, I she didn't sell me personally yet,
Of course.
but I did think it was a really great promo and it was very interesting. And I loved the memes that was like it was like Tam watching Julia's hair grow back, like everybody's hair grows back, and it's like I took
Yeah,
that personally. I took that shit personally.
that was great. That was funny. I mean, like, I know that's such surface level joking, but I was like, it's, get your jokes in. Why the hell
Yeah.
not? Like, I know she explained why, but it's fine. Um, but I think that's everything from the past week. I don't feel like we've missed any news or even any promo stuff from the shows. There wasn't really a lot um, that
Those
I can
streamers
recall.
looked fire.
It did, yeah. The return of streamers was great, and yeah, Stardom were like, yeah, we're not doing them again. And I was like, I will eat your souls.
Yeah,
I will
it's fucking
run
frustrating.
amok. Give me streamers. Yeah, no, it's all right, I guess. But that I suppose we should get onto the preview section because we do have two big shows to preview this week.
Yes, we do.
Um, first of which is the New Blood Premium pay-per-view. In the opener, there's actually a pre-show match and everything. It's Hanan and Hina versus Saida and Momokogo versus Rocca and Rina. I feel like the Ueda Tai team is set up for a win there because they've been pushed pretty hard.
Yeah, it's wild that like 6 people who are like pretty fundamental to New Blood are just pre-show fodder.
Yeah, that's what happens when you have to draft in all of your top stars to squash people to sell tickets.
That's
Um, yeah, it's fun. Then we have the mysterious singles match: Super Strong Stardom Big Machine versus Sexy Dynamite Princess. Who the hell knows? That shit is straight out of Stardom and Showcase. Like that is so bad. I hate it. But I don't know. What can you do?
I'm in cookie
Then
mode.
which
I'm in cookie mode.
okay, sorry. um, then the next match on the show is a New Blood semi-final, a New Blood tag tournament semi-final. It's Starlight Kid and Karma versus Mai Sakurai and Chan Yota. Um,
Why are we
I
still
feel
doing
like
this?
I don't know. This is definitely Kid and Karma winning because they feel very likely to get the belts now.
I mean, yeah, whoever wins this match probably gets the belts, right?
Yeah. Because, I mean, the thing is, Mirai and Kid had that exchange after the
Yeah.
tag at Corkin, and I don't know why you would do that if you're not setting up the final of this tournament. So,
And that final could be good if Karma gets her shit together.
she won't.
Yeah.
Kid having these New Blood belts is going to be so weird because she feels so far above this brand, but she's
She's
also,
not.
like,
No.
always on it.
Okay, you know what? No, I'm tired of it. Everybody says Starlight Kid. Everybody says the Starlight Kid is above things. She's not. She is in the
She
mud and she
she's
deserves to be in the mud.
she was the leading part of an Artist of Stardom title winning team. Like, wouldn't put Momo Watanabe on this brand. Like,
That's because
why
Momo
would you put
Watanabe's
Kid?
good. What? I'm kidding. I'm just upset about Karma and I'm taking it out on Kid. I'll admit that.
Okay, that's valid. To be fair, Karma might die because Umasaki is like presumably winning the Diana belt soon, and they might be like, okay, you can have her be normal again. Show off our belt, please. So we'll have to wait and see there.
I mean,
That
she's
is
gonna be
putting a
in the
lot of faith
Cinderella the
in
next
Diana,
day.
though. That is true, actually. Yeah.
She's gonna
That is
lose
putting a
first
lot of
round.
faith. Of course, yeah, she's fucked. Um, Anyway, that is a Kid and Karma win. The next match is the second New Blood Tag Tournament semi-final. It's Mirai and Tomoka Inaba versus Nanami and Ami Sore. Crazy that Ami Sore is probably the worst wrestler in this match because Nanami goes crazy.
Yeah, Nanami's gotten really good.
Yeah, it's weird because Nanami and Miran just like stunt on everyone. It's pretty crazy. Um,
Kids are
yeah,
alright.
that's sometimes. But that is a Mirai and Inaba win,
Yep.
definitely.
I'm missing it, but I'm really excited for this weekend because she's gonna be back in Stardom. Uh,
Yes.
but she's been busy beating the brakes off her sister, so I get it.
Yeah, which I don't think I've seen because
Neither have
JTO
I.
is like
Neither have I. It's
possible to
JTO.
get nowadays. The next match on the show then is a Supernova 5-match series. This is the third match. It's Miyu Amasaki versus Suri.
So the passion
Miyu,
injection was not a part of the series.
no,
Interesting.
it was just torture.
Okay.
So
Allegedly. We
yeah,
haven't seen it.
yes. Well, yeah. I saw the photos of Miyu Amasaki after she looked like she'd been through some shit.
She looked like a war
So
veteran.
yes, yeah, she you could see it in the eyes. She had seen some things. Yeah, that's gonna be Siri like beating the shit out of her. So that's pretty fun.
Yeah, the
Um,
reason we call Miyu Amasaki Kevin is actually because, damn, Velke gave me this joke and I feel really bad about it now that I'm about to say it. It's because much like Kevin Von Erich, there will be a dead wrestler in this match when it ends.
Oh my god! Wow.
R.I.P.
I think it's one of the least mundane. That's like one of the least controversial things you've said on this show.
That's true. That's true. But I
Like,
don't know.
he,
When I went
like,
to say it, I was just like, "Damn, this feels kind of bad."
well, I mean, he like is dead. Like, you cannot do anything about that. So
It's true.
I
It's
don't
true.
know. But yeah, I don't know. Kevin Miyamasaki will get beaten up,
She
so that's
will
fun.
die.
Yes, most definitely. The match after that then is a rookie debut match. It is Hanako and Lady C versus Maika and Himeka. I mean, my Hime is winning, but that's a pretty good match to put Hanako in for her first one.
Yeah. I haven't seen. Oh my god, that
It's the
crack
cookie.
was
I blame the
crazy.
cookie.
No, that wasn't even the cookie. That was just me talking too much. I never shut up. Um, I don't even know what to say now. No, I haven't seen Aniko wrestle since the prominent stuff, right? She's still been doing
Hmm.
UWF stuff. She just retired, quote unquote, Risa Fella, the other day. I haven't seen anything since like, I want to say late last year. So I'm interested to see how the Stardom training has like developed her and if she is any better than she was a few months ago.
I would assume not at all, but we'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah,
Um, the match after that then is another rookie debut match. It is Giulia versus Aya Sakura. Um, and yeah, that is our karate master going up against Giulia. Julia's probably going to beat the hell out of her because that
really
is what
bad
Giulia
name.
does. Yes. And we'll probably get out of everybody. I feel like Sakura was going to get put into a faction the fastest, so they might recruit her right away. Either DDM or God's Eye, but I would expect it to happen here.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm interested. I don't know if they do it right then and there. Maybe they wait a month or so, but I'm interested in it.
Sometimes they wait, and sometimes they are immediately like, "Yeah, you're cool. We want you in a faction
Yeah, wasn't
straight
Miyu
away."
Amasaki immediate? But then Lady C took like a
Yeah.
year and a half.
Yes. AC waited until she first won a match, and
And then
then
she waited
waited a
another
few
month
more
or two.
months. Yes, yeah. But yeah, I imagine this will be one of those where she immediately goes into a faction, especially since she's against Giulia. Um, then we have the presumed main event, and genuinely like the real draw of this show. Like this show is useless without this. No offense to any of the rookies, but it's useless without this. We have Waka Tsukiyama and Tam Nakano versus Nanai Takahashi and Kairi. So
That's so
yeah,
fucked.
there's a
Like,
lot of avenues. Like this always looked like the place Waka would get her first win, but there's not a chance that her team is beating Kairi and Nanai. Surely.
finger poke of doom, brother.
Hell yeah.
Waka's gonna poke Nanai, and
Yes.
Nanai's gonna give all of her passion to. That sounds weird. I'm not gonna continue saying that. Um,
Like the only way you could do it is if Rebel Enemy helps her cheat or something, and they throw the
that
powder
would
at
be
Nanai
really
and she gets
interesting.
rolled up. It's like,
I would actually love that.
yeah, because that would give you the out to have your tag
And then Tam's
champion
like,
lose to.
oh, oh my God, yo, I see the vision. I see the vision, Alex. That is actually such a great way to do it. Fucking ectoplasm, and then I gets rolled up, and then Tam's like, "What? You shouldn't be winning this way. That's terrible. Like, do you have no pride?" And then Baka's like, "Fuck you. You made me dress like a turtle. I'm leaving."
Hell
I
yeah.
would actually love that. That would be dope. But I doubt that
Well,
that Nanai and Kyrie's like first tag loss in almost 9 years comes at the hands of Wak.
well, you
I
never
would
know.
love it.
There
I'd
are
be
there are
really
avenues.
interested.
Yeah, there's ways to do it, I suppose. But the most likely outcome is Waka gets her shit rocked and loses, and then we have kind of whatever story beats fall out of that. Because there's a few, as we said, there's a few routes they could go. She loses, with the Rebel Enemy videos, with Nanai previously showing a lot of respect to Waka. Um, like her leaving doesn't necessarily mean she's gone, but it definitely seems to signal the end
A
of her as like a
change.
full-time wrestler.
Yeah.
So but that'll be interesting to see, and that is this match is like the selling point of this show because
I
it is
think
really one of the best built things they've had in a long, long time.
I think the interesting thing is that Club Venus has become like a complete non-factor in anything.
Yeah. There's definitely been a
Like in
weird
this and in a lot of
thing.
things. Like I mean, I like and you the Korakuen, you read the promos afterwards, and it's like Tam's like, "Oh, Mina, welcome back," and Mina's like, "I'll never leave your side again." Like, and I'm just like, "Oh, that happened, I guess." This was like 2 weeks ago. Like this was the show that they didn't put any effort into that they put up last week, and so I'm just like, okay, so there's no turmoil whatsoever. There's no issue.
Hmm.
They are
Hmm.
all homies. Club Venus just doesn't really exist anymore, but it does because Mina has to lead something. And that might change with the introduction of um the X's in the Cinderella tournament. They might join Club Venus, they might not, depending on who they are. But it is strange that like that's completely become
Very.
nothing.
Yeah, I don't really know. It felt for a while like they were doing something there and then completely pulled back, which I'm kind of glad on because I didn't really want Mina being spoiled heel, splitting from Tam or whatever. So it's fine. Um, yeah, Club Venus is always going to be in a state of like fluctuation because it's kind of reliant on foreigners.
Yeah.
Um, but we do have a big show to preview
No, wait,
next.
we still have one more. It's the
We
tag
don't.
final.
What? Oh shit! Yeah, fuck, I forgot all about that. So yeah, they're gonna crown New Blood Tag Team Champions on this show. I mean, could be either team really. Like Mirai,
It's
I need about are a lot less likely
it's got to
because
be Kid and
Mirai,
Karma.
yeah, like Kid and Karma or Chanyota and Mai Sakurai feel like the most obvious picks.
I feel like if Aoitomo was still a thing on these New Blood shows, they would be perfect for them.
Mm.
But since Aoi's a Shinigami, I guess now, and that's it in Stardom. I don't even know if she's still that. I couldn't figure it out. Uh,
Who knows?
yeah, I don't know. It's a shame because like you say that Kid's above it. I think Mirai is the only one on the show that is like firmly like should not be there, right? Like
I mean,
she's like a super senior. You know what I mean? It's like you
yeah,
do not
she's
belong
a
around 14
very
year olds.
like yeah, she's very out of place on these, and kind of so is Ami Sourei. If she wins the tag belts with Mirai, like they would be very far above all this, which is a big reason why I don't see either of those teams winning. Um, yeah, it's probably Kid and Karma to get them.
Over under two failed fireballs on the show.
Under.
Under. I'm saying
Yeah.
exactly two.
Okay.
I know that's not how
Alright.
over under works, but still.
Yeah, don't, you should have said 1.5 or something,
Yeah,
because that's how they do
1.5.
it.
Over under
Yeah,
1.5. What do you think? You think?
under still.
Yeah, I'm going over. Take
Save it.
the over.
All right. Okay. We'll have to wait and see. We do have a big show to preview after this. All right. So the second show to preview is the Cinderella Tournament opening round. This is on the 26th of March. So Stardom was a double header at the Yokohama Budokan. Both shows are live, and one is the New Blood, and one is the Cinderella. Cinderella Tournament opening round is lengthy. There are so many matches.
Tell
It
me
is
about it.
1, 2, 3,
16.
for 16 matches. So a lot of these are going to be short. Don't know. Have they announced the time limit yet for these? I assume it's 10 minutes because
Yes,
you
it's 10
couldn't
minutes.
do. Okay, that's pretty cool. Um, yeah, these are all 10-minute time limit matches. You can win by pinfall, submission, or over the top rope. And if the match goes to a draw, both people are eliminated. So, best place to start is with Utami Hayashishita versus Nanai Takahashi. So, this is a pretty big match to do. Um, and this is one of the more interesting ones because I think the winner of this faces the winner of Micah versus Momo.
Oh no, it's 18. That's crazy.
18 matches?
Yeah, it's 18 matches.
Wow. All right, okay.
I wrote about 18
Um,
matches yesterday.
incredible. Yeah, this is an important one because the winner of this faces the winner of Micah versus Momo. I think that's going to be a big match to sell tickets to the round 2 show.
Yes.
Right, so the winners of these kind of have to set up a big match, which is why I expect Nanai eliminates Utami,
Mm.
and then Micah eliminates Momo, so you can do Nanai versus Micah, because they've got a built-in feud.
Well, I mean, all of these people have a built-in feud. That's the beauty of it.
That's true.
This
but I feel like
top left quadrant is insane. I'm gonna be real.
it
Like
is.
outside of Mirai versus Rina, which I mean, Mirai could be a big deal. Everybody in this has like this real like heat to it. Every match in it, and even Mirai versus Rina is based on xenophobia, so it's great. Um, but as for Nanai versus Utami feels like there's a lot of matches that feel like they're draw bait. You know what I mean? Like it's like, oh,
Yeah.
this one's obviously gonna draw, which could make it interesting, right? So
Yeah, the way I'm thinking of the first round is I'm more so going by what will this set up? Like, what is everything setting up? Because
yeah,
you do need matches to sell Korkin in round 2.
this is true.
So that's kind of my thought process for all this, which is why I have them doing Nai versus Micah. Because that feels like a Korkin match, whereas Tommy versus Momo, even Utami versus Micah, don't feel like they do that because those are like pay-per-view matches.
I mean,
Um,
Micah and Utami have a long history in Corkin. Uh,
that they do, I suppose.
I
But
feel like,
no, it feels like a pay-per-view match nowadays.
and I mean, Utami has never beaten, or she's never beaten Nanai, right? They've only had tag
Mhm.
matches, but they've always ended with Nanai winning. And you know, I can see it. I think Nanai going forward in her first Cinderella is smart, because
Mhm.
she just missed out on it when she left. So I think that would be smart. But I also feel like Utami Micah or Utami Momo, like they sound way more
Yeah, see,
meaty.
Utami Momo is a lot more like they have to protect that at this stage because that's essentially a match we never got for like a title. So you can hold off on that, and doing it at Cork and doesn't feel like enough.
Yeah,
So
I
I
guess
don't see
especially in
I
the
like
second round of Cinderella.
yeah, like that's the only match that I definitely don't see them doing. Whereas you could talk me into Utami versus Micah, or even like Nanai versus Momo. But I feel like we're going
Nanai
Nanai
Momo would
versus
be interesting.
Micah.
Nanai Momo would be
Would
interesting. I think
definitely.
when's the second round?
Um, early April. Oh, 2nd of April, isn't it?
I believe so. Okay. I don't know why I asked. It doesn't matter because nothing's happening until Yokohama.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I think Micah over Momo, and I'll hazard Utami over Nanai actually.
Which?
Yeah, I think Utami over Nanai.
Right. So you have Utami and Micah next round.
Yeah, I think I do.
Right. Okay. I suppose that doubles as our preview of Micah versus Momo. Neither of us is giving Momo a chance.
I mean, no, I
No.
because Micah is like potential winner. Like she's like top 2, 3. She's top 2
Yeah,
for me of
definitely.
potential winner of
Yeah.
this. So it's hard for me to be like, oh, she's out first round. If she is, then things get very, very interesting. I have no idea what the fuck's happening,
hmm
especially on the left side of the bracket. But I just think that she's going far, right? Because she has the match against Himeka, and that she's going to need something to like sink her teeth into coming out of that.
Yeah.
So even if it's just another unsuccessful title challenge, which sucks, it's the Sonata issue all over again. Because Sonata's challenging for the 17th million time coming out of New Japan Cup. If he doesn't win, it's gonna be literally for nothing. I feel like Micah is also kind of at that point, which is concerning.
hmm
But of anybody in this tournament, it would make the most sense for her to win. So her over Momo feels like you know, it feels obvious. Also, she's beaten. I hope she beats her with the Kata Hajime again. I think that'd be funny.
Hell yeah. The beast. Um, After that, then we have Giulia versus Mai Sakurai, and I feel like this is one where they want you to think that Sakurai can win, but the way I see it panning out is Giulia and Hazuki both win, in this side because that sets up Giulia versus Hazuki for the second round.
See, I
They've
disagree.
haven't they run that before?
They have. Giulia
Yeah.
versus Suzuki. Yeah, that was
Yeah. So
Suzuki beat her in the 5-star.
yes, that's
Great
true.
match. Great
So
match.
I feel like you have Giulia beat Mai and you have Hazuki beat Azumi. And then you can do Giulia and Hazuki like drawing the Korkin.
See, the way I see it, I
Okay.
have Giulia over Mai, and I have Azumi over
Right.
Hazuki. Because Azumi was talking about how she just wants to face Giulia. That's she barely was like, "Oh, I want to win this tournament." She's more like, "I just want to face Giulia." That's the goal right now. And also that makes it so that the IWGP match could be just Azumi versus Mercedes.
I think it's going to be a three-way though, because that's the more exciting match is Mercedes versus Hazuki versus Azumi. That's better to
Yes,
me. So
I
I
mean
feel like that's what they're going to do there.
I could see it, but I don't know. Something in my bones tells me that Azumi's taking over. Because I also think
Mm.
that a Hazuki Giulia match would be hard to book right now. Even though they could just draw
Not
out. They
really.
could just draw
Yeah,
out,
because
I know, but I feel like Azumi throwing Giulia over the top rope would have more or have less stakes than Hazuki drawing with Giulia, if that makes sense. And that's like the Cinderella is all about like as few stakes as possible unless they are abundantly necessary.
well, I mean, if Giulia's still waiting on her first win over Hazuki, you can set that up as a red belt match, though. So that's why
It's,
I would do that. Like that's why I would have Giulia beat Mai, and Hazuki can beat Azumi, join the IWGP match, maybe challenge Giulia soon. Um,
I could see it.
I think a draw between them works because I think the next show is the second round and the quarterfinals, if I'm not mistaken.
Giulia.
So you'd
Wait,
be able
oh
to
wait, but
have
an issue there is that Mariah May would just move on all the way.
yeah. You don't want Mariah. No offense to Mariah, but you don't really want her beating Giulia or Hazuki. So
Yeah. I could see
I,
it. A Giulia
yeah,
Hazuki draw in the first round or in the second round, and then Mariah moves
Mhm.
on against like Micah or Nanai,
yeah.
which
No,
is
I know
Micah
they
against
did
over
post.
Micah.
Did post somewhere the way they were laying out the Cinderella tournament, like the show
Yes,
by
I
show, but I
just
can't
saw it.
find it.
I have no idea
I'm
where it
like,
was though.
why are they making life so difficult for me?
Did I see it on Wikipedia?
Let's
I might
see.
have seen it on Wikipedia.
Okay, so it's yeah, so the second round and the quarterfinals are oh, it's on different days. Okay.
I don't think that
It's not at
changes this though.
Corkin. I don't think the second round is at Corkin, is it?
Jesus.
God. It's at is it Takadana Baba maybe? Because it's the
Uh,
1st of April and
April
then Corkin is the
1st.
second.
Uh, er,
Oh, it's some random venue they never run before.
they,
Light Cube Utsoniyama?
Light Cube at Somiyama.
Yeah. Oh, Tochigi Light Cube Utsoniyama. God, they've never run there before. That is for sure. I've never seen that venue name in my life. Have you?
No, not even a little bit.
Is it on cage matches? Because yeah, that kind of throws me for a loop a bit. Because I thought the second
It's a big hall.
round
Okay, it's
was
literally
run with
called
me.
Big Hall Light Cube at Sumiyama.
Oh, great. Okay.
I am not finding any.
0-1 run here like a week ago. A charity show.
Oh wait. Is it?
Mm.
No, that's a fucking football stadium.
I think it's this one that 0-1 ran for a few weeks ago or
Interesting.
11 days ago.
What did
But
they get?
anyway,
What capacity did they get?
doesn't say because it
Jesus
was a
Christ,
charity
fucking
show, so I don't
0-1.
think they have it. I know, right? How annoying. Does it say anywhere what it has? Assume it's a big enough space anyway if they're running a
No, what's funny?
entire round.
I wrote this big preview of this show that everybody should check out on Last Word on Pro Wrestling or Last Word on Sports / Pro Wrestling, I should say. I wrote a big preview of it. I used Spanner's guide to help me because there was a lot of matches and all of this. I put so much work into it, and then there's still an issue of us just googling shit because we don't know what the fuck's going on. Like this is what I was trying to avoid.
In my defense, they should Stardom should have pinned that tweet. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wait, why aren't we looking at the fucking schedule?
Right, so 2,000 people. 2,000 people can fit in this hall.
Interesting. We could have just
So
been looking
you're
at the schedule.
definitely
That's wild.
okay. So you're definitely running some big matches, which Giulia versus Hazuki definitely is.
Yes.
So I would have second round. So for the second round, we would have Utami versus Maika, or no, Nanai versus Maika, and then Giulia versus Hazuki. So that's kind of how I would see it. So yeah, I think Giulia beats Mai and Hazuki beats Azumi, and Hazuki goes on to join
The trios.
match with Mercedes, which is why they haven't made that official, because they announced like 5 matches for Sakura Genesis, but not the Mercedes match. So they might be waiting to add Hazuki to it. Then we have Mariah May versus Rina, and that feels like a pretty easy win for Mariah May. I feel like she goes deep into the tournament and has like a pretty establishing run, because that's usually what they do in the Cinderella. There's always one person who like does really well.
I mean, she's not going to do that well. My Wi-Fi went out for a second, but I'm back. I hope.
All right.
She's not going to do that well because she has 2 matches and she's going to lose to Micah. Because if we're right, there's going to be a draw that advances her to the quarters, and she's just going to lose out of that. But yeah, I mean, Mariah, I should say, over Rina makes total sense. Yeah, I mean, I have Mariah as like a dark horse win. Like she could win the whole thing if they wanted to. If they wanted to get real ballsy about it.
If they wanted to bring back the SWA belt, she'd make a lot of sense, but I don't know if they see her in that light. Is she?
What I wonder
She's
is,
Saya Kamatani tier. Is she?
I'm wondering if this year's tournament
Mirai?
is this more? Yeah, it was Mariah. I'm wondering if this tournament this year is that important.
It is always important. I know the dates are a bit weird, but it is like a big tournament.
No,
to
but
them,
like,
always.
what if she wins and her wish is to be SWA champion? Because there's no projected date for the Cinderella winner to win a belt. You know, she like again. I don't think Mariah's winning. I think that she's going to get stuffed by Micah. She's going to get, I forget the word I use, stuffed, whatever. She's going to get beat by Micah in the quarters, but I could see her win it because she hasn't lost yet. You know what I mean? Like she's viable, and I could definitely see her wish being, oh, I want the SWA belt, and I want it to come back, and I want it in my possession, and why not?
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, that would set us up for like potentially an SWA match at the Yokohama Arena show if they wanted to.
And then then
could bring
like
it back
Tekla
there.
can come out and challenge her or whatever.
Yeah,
Or
so maybe.
What I was thinking also is the 2 X's, which we'll have to talk about one of them in a moment. The 2 X's. What if they just do a fatal 4-way with? Well, actually, 2 of them are probably going to be from the same country, so that wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But they don't care about the rules. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, that's true.
Like I could see a fatal 4-way for the belt, for the SWA belt.
Yeah. Maybe. I don't know if they'd do that though. I don't know if they'd ever do that for a belt that isn't the high speed. Yeah, I don't know. I don't see Mariah winning, but I mean, can't rule it out, I guess, but I don't see it. That is that quadrant of the bracket. The next one starts off with Suri versus Tomoka Inaba. This is one of the cooler matches.
Yes.
This might be one of the draws that eliminates a big star, because
I can't see that.
I don't know if like Saki versus Suri is something they want to do, when you can just have like Saki skip ahead.
They do it constantly.
It's true, but you know what I mean.
I mean, Saki could easily just beat Shuri. That's the thing.
I do not want that at all. So I would rather this be a draw that eliminates the 2 of them.
I could also see
especially
Inaba tossing Shuri over the top rope, like kicking her off.
Not a chance. Not a hope.
It's over the top rope, man. Like dumber things have happened in this tournament.
That is true.
Not dumber, but
I see them both lose. I see them drawing, and then for like the next couple of shows, you can do Suri and Tomoka tagging on the undercard because you do have to also think of how they're going to fill out the cards around the tournament matches. So Suri and Tomoka teaming would fill up one or two of the
Yeah, because
matches.
Ami and Mariah are both going to move forward probably,
Hmm.
so it'd be kind of
So
hard.
I would have that.
I could see it.
Yeah. Then you have Momokoga versus Saki, and I feel like that's an obvious Saki win because everybody pushes her.
She's got to get her win back. They're
Yeah,
they're they're
sadly.
1-0. They're 1-0, which is crazy.
Oh, yeah,
The only winning record that Komomo has in the company, as far as I'm aware. Maybe against Waka,
crazy.
because Waka's Waka, but I don't.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it would be against Waka, but one of two.
All right. Next up then is Saya Kamatani versus Mayu Iwatani.
See, but this
a
has to
fantastic.
be a draw.
Oh, possibly. What did their GP match do? Was
Uh,
that a draw?
it was Saya over Mayu,
I over Mayu.
and
Okay,
then
I
the
might
year
have
they've
Mayu.
wrestled 3 times in tournament.
Yeah.
And the first, oh no, not in tournament. They wrestled 2 times in tournament and 1 time
Hmm?
before this. Mayu beat her the first 2 times. The most recent time last year was Saya over Mayu, so it's 2-1
Okay,
for Mayu. But it feels hard. Like Mayu doesn't really get far in these tournaments anymore.
that's true.
And also, we just saw Mayu versus Saki at last year's tournament, and Saki won in
Yes.
7 seconds. Oh, but there's the
Yeah.
X. That's the
Well,
big thing.
that's true. Well, I don't know. X can probably face Kamatani. Maybe.
I'm participating off the idea that Mayu beats Kamatani. Because if anybody gets a decision,
Right.
I don't see it being Kamatani over Mayu in this
I don't know. I feel
in
like
this
Kamatani
circumstance.
would beat Mayu to level them up because she is the white belt champ. You maybe
Yes,
want to
but
keep her at a certain
I see
class.
it as a draw or Mayu winning. Because I don't think that because
Right.
Kamatani ain't setting anything up. You know what I mean? She has a championship match
That's
already.
true.
She's probably
That's
losing
true.
that championship match. She just losing to Mayu over the top, very easy. It's
Yeah, actually, Saya going out and then spending the next few big shows wrestling Mina in tags might be the
exactly,
way to go.
yeah.
Yeah,
That's how
so
I see
maybe
it.
that's how they do it. So yeah, because you can have Saya and Utami team up as well to fill out some of the cards, the same way you can have Siri and Inaba team
Yeah,
up.
it's either a draw, which if we see Shuri Tomoka as a draw, then I don't think this one's a draw. It's either a draw or
Mm.
Mayu over.
Alrighty, okay then. The next match then is ADC versus X. Now, with regard to X and double X, I've been told, I haven't seen this, Sunny, our good pal Sunny, said on the Meltzer boards that one of the X's won't be here in time for the Cinderella tournament because they couldn't get their visa. They will still be coming to Japan. They'll be 2 weeks late, and they will be replaced in this tournament. So I don't know if that's this X or it's double X, but one of them is just going to be whoever they can rope in. So like it might be Yoneyama, it might be Yuna Mizumori, it might
Yuna's
be
already in it.
she. Okay, it might be one of the Colors crew. Like it could be Hikari Shimizu or something.
Saki isn't
But
in
that
this,
is
yeah.
this. So both X's are not foreign wrestlers by the looks of things.
What? Wait, what'd you say?
One of them,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, like because one of them they are both meant to be foreign wrestlers, but one of them seemingly cannot get into the country in time. So that means one of them will just be a random Japanese lady.
Yeah, which I would give to Hina. I would give the foreigner to Hina, I should say. Or no. I
Yeah.
would give the foreigner to Lady C. That's
Okay.
because Mayu versus a foreigner is always a draw, right? But then again, Tekla
Yeah.
versus a foreigner is also a thing you could do.
So if she wins,
Yeah, I don't
you
think
never
Tekla
know.
wins. That's hard. Koguma doesn't
Yeah.
lose in the Cinderella.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Her domain.
damn, this is interesting.
Yeah. And I think Lady C gets eliminated either way.
Yes, I mean both Lady C and Hina
Um.
get eliminated either way.
Yeah. Who then could X be? Because assuming it is a foreigner,
Who
there's a
who
few.
hasn't TJPW already taken?
Yeah, like there's names that can be ruled out, but there's not a ton. Like it's not Kylan King. No, it's not Kylan King. Um, It's not Vert Vixen. She's just been in TJPW or just been announced for TJPW.
It's not
It's
Sandra
none of the.
Moon. She
Not
just
Sandra Moon. She's marvelous.
yeah.
It's not Billy Starks. It's not Max. It's not Heidi.
It's not
There's
Willow. It's
an
not really anybody from AEW
no.
probably.
There's been an Eve show announced that has a lot of the major names like Jetta, Riley Morgan, Izzy Evo.
Is the
So
Ava available?
not sure. She hasn't wrestled in a while.
Okay.
She seems to have kind of stopped a bit. So I don't know
I'm
about her.
fearful that she might be available.
Yeah, it could be the Ava. I don't know, but like I genuinely have no idea who it could be because anybody logical is already booked, right? So
I
it's like it's gonna be another complete surprise.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this might be a round of Americans because I feel like these visa issues happen way more frequently with Americans than they do with
Yeah, possibly.
and they usually bring over same country. You know what I mean? Like
Mm.
that's just not necessarily, but that's just often how it's been. Uh maybe Session Moth.
Are there
Session Moth
any?
available?
Oh, I think she just won the OTT women's belt, so probably not.
Uh I if
Yeah, I don't think they'd belt her up if she was leaving the country.
yeah,
So
yeah. Um yeah, I have no idea. Uh
yeah, it's confusing because like there's so many women out there now that it could be, and it's just the hell knows.
Tyann
Like
get
I don't know
signed
if
yet?
there's anybody who's. Huh?
Tyann got signed yet? Oh no,
She
she's doing
just
New
worked
Japan
Ring of
shows.
Honor.
But she's doing New Japan shows, isn't she? Or she's
Yeah,
training with New Japan.
yeah, I don't know with her, but I know she just did Ring of Honor, so probably not Hyan, even though she'd be pretty beast. And I imagine she's booked. I'd have to check.
I'm checking.
Um, yeah. I mean, we could sleuth
Jeez.
every indie wrestler's schedule, but it's not really worth it. Um, I assumed it would be a British woman because Eve did a while ago talk about 4 women heading to Stardom.
Yes.
So far, there's only been 2.
Uh, Edge of Glory, the
And if the
22nd.
Queen,
Motherfucker. Yeah, she's gonna be on a
yeah.
show in uh
You also have
Texas
to
in a couple weeks.
remember whoever's doing this is missing Mania Week bookings, so
Hmm.
a
Yeah.
lot of the wrestlers will have announced themselves for
Especially,
Mania Week.
yeah, that means that no American is doing that because that's kind of like the
Yeah,
American payday.
yeah. So I wouldn't say it's any American wrestler because just they'd miss out on the biggest weekend in America, unless it's somebody far away from LA who like wouldn't get booked anyway. But I really don't know much about that, so I don't know. I have no guesses for X for once. Like I genuinely am out of ideas. Once it wasn't Kylan King, and once it wasn't. It was Kylan my only guess. Yeah, I think Kylan was my only guess. Once it wasn't her, I was like, I have no clue.
Oh, it's not Windsor. That's who we were thinking.
Oh yeah, Alex Windsor. Yeah, her knee is by. So
Both of the poor lovebirds. Um,
yeah, yeah. Will Ospreay got hurt as well.
mhm. Yeah, I have no fucking clue. But
It affects then as well
whoever
how
they are, they will meet Mayu. One of them. Oh, actually, I don't fucking know. This is all just it's a mess. It's a mess.
it's a mess. Definitely. I hate mysteries. I don't like them. That is that section of the bracket. The next one starts off with Starlight Kid versus Haruka Umasaki.
Oh shit!
Um,
I did it the
I don't
wrong
know
way
if
on
did he?
the page. Yeah, I went up to
Down.
down. Yeah, so I have to go.
Okay. Um, this feels like it might be the draw, one other of the draws, because they may
Really?
not want. Yeah, because if they're going to be a team, they might want to part them. And they wrestled before and went to a draw, so I feel like you might stick with that.
I feel like. I mean, I'm cool with that. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, because I mean, would Umasaki beat Kid? Would
No, the kid would be
that be worth it? Yeah.
Umasaki's only
Well,
had
I feel
one
like
singles match in Stardom. Isn't that crazy?
yeah,
And it was against
that's
Saya
wild.
Kamatani.
Yeah. I don't know. A Kid might make a deep run, but I don't know if it would benefit them at all.
I mean, it would give the way I see it. It could
Hmm.
be Kid Natsuko. That could be a match that they're giving away in the quarter.
Hmm. I didn't have Natsuko progressing that far, so.
See, I feel like Tam can't progress that far. Himeka's retiring. Is Ruaka going
Well,
that
Himeka
far?
might beat her though. Yeah, possibly.
I mean, I can see Ruaka going like making not like a deep run, but making a run past Natsuko. Uh,
Yeah. Like you could like do you could have Amisore kind of get through this or something, and then like Ruaka versus
see,
Amisore
but I feel
maybe.
like Kid over Ami. Like I don't know. I don't see a Kid in Umasaki drawing. It just feels too far. Like
Mm.
not that it feels too far fetched, but I feel like they tried with Umasaki and they were like, okay,
Yeah,
that's enough.
it's true. That's not stopped them before though, so I feel like they would still go with Umasaki, and they might do,
I mean,
but
dude, I am cool with that. Trust me, because like I said earlier, Micah is one of three possible winners, and the other two that I personally view is Kid and Natsupoi. Right? I don't want either of those. I don't want either of those to happen. I want Micah to happen. So the sooner that Kid gets out, the sooner that Natsupoi gets out is a better day for me. So I'm cool with a draw for Kid and Umasaki or Umasaki over. I'm cool with either of those, but I feel like Kid moves forward and eventually meets Natsuko, and that kind of starts something. Maybe not start something, but it teases a little bit.
your hatred of Starlight Kid shining through at every moment is very interesting. Um, yeah, I mean that's definitely one of the more unpredictable results because I could definitely see a draw to like retain the parity between them, but if not, then I feel like they might go with Umasaki.
Also, this is Kid. This
Um,
is Kid and Umasaki, not Kid and Karma. There's no
it's
tag
true, but
belts between Kid and Karma.
people still know. People still know. Like
Now, one of them
I
has a
don't know.
deeper voice. You know about that? Well, you know about that
That's true.
microphone.
That's true. um, I don't know. That's either a draw or Umasaki winning.
I feel like Kid
Um,
over. That's crazy. That's crazy. You have Kid out
oh,
first
all
round.
right. Yeah, well, I mean, it's how the tournament works, I
She lost
guess.
first round last year. I feel like she has to make a run this year.
Yeah. Um, the other match in that bracket then is Ami Sourei versus Unimon, and that really doesn't give us much insight into who could face the Keiteru Misaki. Like, that's complete anonymous.
Unimon's a
Assume Ami
total.
Sourei will win.
Unimon's a total wild card.
Yeah, but I imagine Unim or not Unim, Ami Sourei would win that one.
Yeah, I I would obviously prefer if Unimon won it. I would be more interested if she made a little bit of a run.
Mm.
Not even a big run. She'd probably lose to Kid in my bracket. Obviously, you have Umasaki or a draw, but yeah, I think Unimon over Ami. Actually, I think I'll go with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Then we have Tam versus Himeka, and I would go with Himeka here, because they haven't been fully like just her losing every match.
I mean,
So I
she could just
imagine she
toss her
might
over the
beat
top.
Tam.
I think that's
Yeah, like you
consistently
can
how
get
she
away
does
with it.
that.
So like you can do various things there to get around it. So I would have Himeka win here because I have Ruaka going over Natsuko.
Oh, you think they're running that back already?
Yeah, especially with Ruaka getting Himeka's finisher, like they might have her hit concussion bomb on Himeka,
I don't know if Ruakin
like
can
fully.
lift Jamaica for that
She's gonna
long.
have to learn. She's gonna have to try. She'll do it off the apron or the rope or something. 'Cause, I feel like that's the best way to do the pass of the torch thing. Would be having Ruaka back from an 8-minute loss to concussion bomb Himeka.
I mean, I'm cool with it. I think that'd be really fun. But
Yeah.
I feel
What did you go with? You went with Natsuko versus Tam?
yeah, I went Natsuko over Tam, over the
Okay,
top rope or something.
yes.
Disqualification
I could
or
see it,
something.
especially if they went on to do Natsuko versus Ami
I mean, I
to
was
like
thinking
set up a
Natsuko
tag
Kid.
thing. Of course. I don't know
the
why they would do that though.
the thing with Natsuko is this is her first singles tournament since the injury,
Yeah.
and I feel like we kind of similar, not similar, but like in the same vein as Unimon, we don't know what the vibe is right now. She lost to Utami, right? I think that's like the only major singles match she's had, you know, since her injury. I'm gonna go quickly. check to see what other singles matches she's had. Yeah, it's the only singles match she's had this entire time, since her injury.
All right.
So I don't know. Like Natsuko could make a run. Like she could make it to like the semis, because her side of the bracket isn't that crazy. Her quadrant, I should say.
Mm.
But I just don't know for sure. I feel like Natsuko or Ruaka probably wins the second round. Whoever wins out of them two, because Tam Himeka, neither of them can really go that far.
Yeah.
And then they can meet
Yeah.
Kid or Ami or Unimon or Umasaki. I don't really know. Like I feel like those four are very up in the air for me right now. But I'd probably say Kid. So Kid versus Ruaka or Kid versus Natsuko
Yes.
in the quarters is what I would go for. No way to touch
Yeah,
that.
I actually have Rocka and Ami in the quarters, I think.
Interesting.
I went that far. That's what I would have. So, because I mean, they feel like they're in putting Rocka over mode, and the best way to do that is a run in this tournament, and this is a pretty easy tournament to do that in, especially because then she can lose pretty easily to whoever they want in the other section. So, yeah, I would have
Do you have
Rocka.
Ruaka over Ami?
If they
That's a
want, yeah.
hard. I mean, I feel like Ruaka has so many things as a character that she can do to win these matches. You know what I mean? Like I
Yes.
think
Yeah, that's the thing.
yeah.
Like they could really play it up, and like if they want to go fully balls out, just do Nanai and Rock a final again. So I think we'd all be down for that.
Why the fuck not? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
What a beautiful reality that
But
would
yeah,
be.
that's yeah, that's that section of it. We're very unsure on that one,
Yeah.
but I'm very interested in how it plays out. Then we kick off with Mirai versus Hanan. So Mirai won last year, so she's gonna go out early this
It's,
year. I don't know if round one early or round two,
okay.
especially with her and potentially Ida
Okay.
being matched up.
Dude,
Because I think
I
you're
need it.
going in the same place
I
as me.
need it. I need it
Yes.
so bad.
Yeah.
Please. It's all I
Yes.
want in this godforsaken world is for Ida to get a single sole victory over Mirai ever.
Might
Please,
happen.
like
Might happen.
I would be cool with Hanan over Mirai as well. I feel like that's like a upset that is possible. I think Hanan could find a way to get her over the top. I don't think it's that hard, but man, it just like it looks so perfect, right? Because the next ones we'll talk
It
about,
does.
there's a draw leading to Ida winning and going to the
Yep.
third or to the quarters. I can't count. That's not the quarters. I fucking hate how they did this. The third
That's a
round,
weird bracket.
third round. There's Ida looks like she can make it to the third round against Mirai, uh, and I want that a lot. So I would say
Mhm.
Mirai over Hanan is what's happening. But I could also see a Hanan, you know, sneaking out a victory, trying to get a first win in Cinderella. Because a lot of these people have never won a singles match in the Cinderella, because you know they have been
Yeah,
fodder up to this point.
I don't think it's Hanan's time. It doesn't feel like they're doing much with her at the moment. So I wouldn't have her do much this time. Um, so that's why I'd have Mirai beat her.
Did Raka drop out of school?
Potentially.
Because I'm thinking about it, they would have graduated roughly at the same time. 'Cause they're the same
Yeah.
age, like by like they're like a week off or something.
I mean, it's possible. I don't really know.
Well,
Maybe she just doesn't post about it.
that's true. That's true. I was just thinking, I was like, huh. But yeah, yeah, Mirai over Hana just feels too. It feels too much. Like
Yeah, too easy.
you can't do that.
Um, then we have Sai Ida versus Miyo Amasaki, and I think we both have Ida winning
I
that one.
hope.
That's one of the more easy
I
ones.
hope.
Yeah. Then we have Natsupoi versus Mina. So I expect this to go to a draw, set up Natsupoi and Mina as the first white belt match
I
of Mina's
also
reign.
I see that being the case as well. Um,
Okay.
like I said, if Natsupoi does beat Mina, then I think she probably wins the entire thing. Uh,
She's a good shout, yeah.
if but I feel like Natsupoi's so
Like
weird.
you can just do the Natsupoi and Mina draw and do a title match
Yes.
thing. Like you don't need her to win. Um, so
But
I feel
then
like this is
again,
one of those matches that will change the tournament on its head. Because
yes,
if Natsupoi wins, she's a favorite. If she draws, Mike is the favorite.
yes, correct. But I mean, and if she wins, then I definitely see Mike and Natsupoi final, and then I still don't know who wins.
That's
But
true,
but
actually.
if they
Yeah.
did the Mike and Natsupoi final, then somebody is losing, and that's not good for the two presumably next challengers for titles. You know, I feel like Micah is she's ready for another loss. She's got to rack them motherfuckers up. Uh, but
You know it, especially if there's a Fukuoka pay-per-view right
yeah,
after
yeah, it's
Yokohama,
Golden Week.
so,
You know what that
gotta do it.
means. Uh,
Hell yeah. Um,
yeah, I feel like Natsupoi draw against Mina, and that can kind of make
yeah.
that side of the bracket real interesting. Uh,
Mhm.
instead of just
Yeah, so that
Natsupoi
would do.
just winning.
Yeah, that would give us Ida versus Mirai then in the next round, which would be
It's
interesting.
beautiful. It could be
Uh,
a beautiful. It could be a beautiful life. Beautiful
definitely.
world.
We then have the very unpredictable Koguma versus Tekla. Um, yeah, that could really go either way. Like Tekla, maybe they want to push her again because she's been on the back seat since coming back from
Yeah.
injury. So maybe they do want to do something with her, but I don't really know.
That's something
Like,
that I
do they have
realized. That's
Koguma?
something I realized with a lot of these wrestlers is that a lot of them are kind of like they just need like a little bit of space to just like shoot through.
Mm,
You know, like someone like Tekla, someone like Mariah May, someone like Natsuko even, you know, Unimon. Like there's a bunch of wrestlers who it's like if they just like are given the chance to make a little run, they could really make some stuff happen that hasn't been uh you know, they've been a bit stagnant in the past few months, not even on their own, you know, not even because of their own faults, but just because of how the layout works. Uh so I could see a Tekla making a run in this, but I feel like Koguma is so hard to beat in these tournaments in the Cinderella.
yes, but if anybody could do it, it would be Tekla, who is also high speed.
Yes.
Um, I've just realized, did we mistake, or did I mistake? Is it Saki as in color
No,
Saki?
it's Saki Kashima.
Saki
It's
Kashima.
Kashima.
Oh my god, I thought it was color Saki.
What?
I thought it was
Yes.
colors
Why do you think
Saki.
I'm saying Saki over Shuri so like confidently? What the fuck? You think I'm a
Oh
psychopath?
my god. Dude, that changes everything. Well, not everything, but holy shit. Because I saw it in all caps and I was like, oh, Saki, color Saki. And then I realized everybody's name is in all
This dude doesn't
caps.
read.
I am not having a good
It's
time.
wild because the one
Anyway,
time that I didn't say the word revival when Saki came up.
yeah, that would have saved me a lot of trouble. Um, anyway, yeah, that's fun. So, Tekla could roll up Koguma. Koguma could roll up Tekla. Koguma and Mirai running back. Oh no, it would be Koguma and Ida then. That would be a fun match.
Well, I mean, it depends on
Yeah,
who XX is.
that's true. I suspect XX will be the native wrestler,
Yeah.
and assume that might be somebody from Colors because they're always easy to get in for shows. And they're probably beating Hina because
Yes.
let's be honest here. But if it is somebody from Colors, then Koguma can beat them pretty easily. Tekla could as well. So
One thing that I don't know if our lovely audience knows, Koguma has never been defeated outside of the finals of a Cinderella tournament,
yeah.
which is a crazy stat, right? She's made it to every
Mhm.
single final that she's been in because she's only been in two Cinderella tournaments, but that's still really interesting. I don't think she makes it to the final this year, but it feels hard to get her out first round of like her tournament. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but does
Not
Stardom
hard,
care
but
about
it's
that?
just like, you know,
Do they pay attention? Because
probably
I
not.
I really
They're
question it.
definitely they're
So
paying more attention to the Kuma battle.
yes, definitely. Um. So yeah, that's that part of the bracket. The left side of the bracket feels very predictable, and the right side is just who the hell knows.
I
Like
will
it is
say the
chaos.
left side feels more predictable, but it also has like some way more interesting matches, I would say,
Yes,
top to bottom.
definitely.
You
Yeah,
know,
because
because
I
like
mean, there's
there's
bigger
so much that can
names.
happen.
Like essentially all the big names are on the left hand side. Like the right hand side is literally
I agree.
mid card. Like it's crazy. Um. So
The Mirai
base
Kid and Natsupoi fans are gonna get you for that one though, and Tam.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tam is the
Tam
solo,
needs
like
to get
big
eliminated
name.
like immediately.
Yes. um, but yeah, I think we're both currently leaning Micah as the winner,
Yeah.
and if not Micah, then Natsupoi. Um, because presumably the winner will challenge will be V1 for Mina, or will be the
Which
next for Giulia.
feels like I should be rooting for Natsupoi because
Yeah.
like
Then
I
they've
don't
given themselves the avenue to do Natsupoi versus Mina by pairing them up, which I think is done on purpose.
yeah.
So
I mean they've
that's
paired them
why
up
I
like
don't
a
have
million
Natsupoi.
times in the past like year.
Yeah. Like, why
Um
would you pair them up in this specific tournament if you weren't gonna have it lead to the title match? You know?
but no, what I'm trying to say is I would personally, being me, I would have Micah take the belt off of Mina eventually. That's what I would
Right.
like to happen. So her winning the Cinderella is probably bad because she has to lose whatever championship she's fighting for. 'Cause she's either fighting Giulia, which she is not beating, or she's
No.
fighting Mina in like V1, V2, which she is also not winning.
No.
So, like, as much as I want Micah to win, and as much as I think Micah winning would make total sense, it would put her over. It would also result in her losing yet another championship match, which is
Mm.
not fun.
Well, that's just her spot, really, isn't it? I've kind of accepted it.
She is the Zack Sabre Jr. of this shit, Hiroki Goto
Indeed.
of this shit, if you will.
And now, I mean, Zach gets to lead his own group now as well, so that's not even a fair
Yeah,
comp anymore. Like, he's actually pushed. All of the New Japan guys who used to be goobers are now getting pushes because, like, I don't know, they got bored of pushing the same four people. Um,
the Zack push is so like not to make this a New Japan podcast, but just for like 2 seconds. The funniest thing is that they are pushing Zack, and everybody's like, yeah, that makes sense. He's been grinding to be ready for this push for like 7 years, and then they push David Finley, and it's like, I forgot this dude was still in the company. And like I love how the difference is there. You know what I mean? Where it's like the same level of pushes relatively, but somehow it's like it's like one guy, it's like, yeah, he's been here this entire time. He's been like on the verge of like breaking out, and they finally gave him his own faction. And then David Finley just happened to be white and in the company.
yeah.
There's a certain beauty to New Japan booking. It's disgusting, but it's beautiful at the same time.
Yes, it is a very strange company. But that is our preview of the first round of the Cinderella tournament. I am sure we will be wrong on just about everything. Um, but we will be back next week to review the New Blood Premium, assuming we are able to watch it because I'm not paying for it.
Somebody's paying for it.
Somebody will pay for it somewhere. But yeah, we'll review that, and we'll definitely review the Cinderella tournament because that is on
Yes.
TV. And then we'll preview the second round of the Cinderella tournament and the quarterfinals because those are next week.
Is that a
Uh,
doubleheader?
yeah, the 1st and the 2nd of April.
Interesting. Are those both live
Yes.
or no? That neither of those are live. I
Neither of them, I
fucking
don't think,
hate
actually.
everything about this world.
Yeah. So yeah, because they're doing the one in Tochigi in that 2,000-seater hall, and then they're in Corkin for the Corkin is the third round and the quarterfinals, whereas the April 1st show is just the second round. So
Dude, this motherfucker, Sonny, is about to have to take the next 2 weeks and upload 900 shows, and then he better get the Cinderella tournament up in quick fashion. Not to sound like a brat or like like too demanding, but you've got to like, dude.
yeah, I mean,
There's gonna
they
be
really said
problems.
They really said we are entering one of the best periods we are ever gonna have. Let's run 100 shows because they're running so much next month as well. They have one, two,
Oh, they're
three,
going to the
four,
Sendai Pit.
five, six,
It hurts.
7, 8, 9, 10 shows next month. No, 11. They have 11 shows next month. So
They're gonna be in the
Tony
pit.
has his work cut out for him. Yes, the Sendai Pit for Mina versus Himeka, which that crowd
Oh,
does not
that's gonna be
deserve.
terrible. That's gonna be so
Yeah,
bad. Like,
the Sendai crowd is horrendous.
because that match is like
um,
is a match that like doesn't need a great crowd, but like a great crowd could actually make it like a fun match to watch. That's gonna be
mhm.
god awful because the silent crowd is not going to give a shit, a
Nope,
single shit.
a
They
single
couldn't
one.
give a shit about Andras versus fucking Kagetsu, and those were their people. They watched them grow up. You think they're gonna care about anything else? Fuck no. That's
I
crazy.
like how that was your go-to and not the literal crowning moment of Utami Hayashishita.
Well, yeah, but yeah, that also was really bad.
That was
Tommy versus
terrible.
Mayu just became like a really bad match because nobody cared.
Mhm.
Speaking of a bad crowd, we didn't get to do TJPW Quest.
Sadness, terrible
I
sadness. I
didn't
did
finish the
review the
show.
show
I
anyway,
didn't finish the
so
show because I was like,
okay.
this is hard to get through.
Yeah, it
Because
was a
the
very odd
matches weren't
show.
even that bad, but like
Mm.
I watched Miyu versus Rika, and I was like, oh, that's the best match on the show. I ain't nah, because I was like, this is good, but it doesn't get better.
Yeah,
I ain't sticking around for the next hour. I'm sorry.
and when Mizuki and Yuka went Tam's Road, I was like, "This, you're joking, right? Like this can't be happening." So
I don't like the road when the woman who invented it does it.
yeah, and she does it better than Yuka. I feel I need to say that. But
She
yeah.
still does it better.
Anyway,
That's the crazy thing.
that's yeah, potentially. But yeah, that is us. No TJPW Quest. I did review the show anyway on a different podcast, and I think I'm reviewing it again next week. So you will have chances to hear me describe the show. But that is it for us from Stardom. So I think it's time to close the show. Unless you have any closing remarks.
Uh, isn't it wild that Utami just boom non-factor like she just loses?
Yeah,
Like
very fun.
Utami struggles in the first half of the year consistently.
Yeah,
It's pretty fun.
yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
But yeah, that's all I have
she'll
to say.
make up for it eventually.
I mean, she's
Um,
holding a pretty woman in her arms in her most recent tweet, so I'm sure she's fine.
yeah, she's living life. But with that, if you want to stand, you may stand. If you want to sit, you may sit. Believe today, shine tomorrow. You decide what you believe in. Yo.